intellectually, most of us would agree that small things matter, right? Small acts matter. And I think historically, in a lot of religions, we kind of acknowledge these small things are important. In Matthew 25:40, Jesus said, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." The scripture reminds us that even the smallest gestures, a smile, a kind word, an act of generosity matters. And we see this in the life of Jesus himself. You know, he did all of these miracles, but he also did all of these small things. He washed the feet of the disciples. He walked with people. He talked with people. He just had, these simple everyday moments. And it's not just the Christian religion that kind of acknowledges these small acts. In Buddhism, the concept of metta, or loving kindness, teaches that even small acts of compassion, like offering a kind word or a gentle smile, contribute to the well-being of others and to inner peace. In Hinduism, the practice of seva, selfless service, is considered a vital spiritual duty. It teaches that true devotion is demonstrated through humble acts of service, no matter how small, done without expectation of reward, a simple gesture of helping one another. Islam also emphasizes the importance of small acts of kindness. The Prophet Muhammad taught that even a smile is a form of charity. He states, "Do not belittle any good deed, even meeting your brother with a cheerful face." So if we understand this on some level, the importance of these acts, why do we hesitate? Why are we not just running all over the place, doing these acts of kindness, creating these small acts throughout the world? Why is it that sometimes people who are essentially good hesitate? I think there are a couple of reasons for that. And the first one is just we're busy and we're distracted and we get kind of in our own little lane, right? And sometimes even forget to look up. So we don't even always see the need that's there. I think sometimes there's a fear of rejection or misunderstanding. I was telling Arlene this morning, I'm just in the back overthinking things. That's me. Anybody overthink things? Well, I could help someone, but what if that's not what they want? Well, what if they take it the wrong way? Well, what if they think that I'm feeling sorry for them? Well, what if they misunderstand what I'm trying to do? Well, and there we go. And are paralyzed by our own inner voice that's chattering at us. I think sometimes we underestimate our own impact and feel like we're staring at a million starfish. And what good is it going to do to throw one back in? This is actually kind of a psychological effect. It's called the drop in the bucket effect. Paul Slovic, a psychologist who studies decision-making, calls this psychic numbing. If we see one starving child, we feel like we can act and we feel like we can make a difference on that. If we see a million starving children, well, what are we going to do? And it's just too big to deal with sometimes. Desmond Tutu, if I can make this thing work, said, "Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world." There's also something called the scale of compassion problem, and it's along the same thing. But it shows that if you have one individual story, you can feel compassion for that. If you have a huge issue, it's just harder. Mother Teresa said, "If I look at the mass, I will never act. If I look at one, I will." So sometimes it's just pulling your focus in a little bit. Sometimes we have to leave the world out there and we have to look at our little world and what can we do in that little cosmos. Sometimes I think we're waiting for this big moment, waiting for something to be revealed. And we'll step in during our big heroic moment. And really, sometimes it isn't that big moment. It's the little moments put together. And then there's always self-doubt. Goes in with thinking, well, I don't really have anything to offer. What am I going to do about this issue? There's also a mindset of scarcity versus abundance. Sometimes we get in the mindset that if I have something, you can't have it. And if you have it, then I can't have it. You know, it's that whole analogy about pie. If you eat the pie, I can't have the pie. But we have to realize that kindness isn't pie. It's kind of unlimited. And just because I give it to you doesn't mean that I don't have it. Doesn't mean that I still can't give it to you. And so it's changing to an abundance mindset. And we really have all that we need. So, okay, what can we do? How do we change our mindset to encourage ourselves, really, to do these small acts of kindness? I think one of the things that we can do is we can fix the problem that we can. I get it. The problems are big. But sometimes there are small problems within the big problem that we can fix. A couple of years ago, I was visiting somebody at a hospital, and I was in the lobby, you know, where they're doing like intake kind of stuff. And a woman and her husband, we'll call him Joe, came in. And the wife said, I need to have my husband Joe admitted. He's having suicidal thoughts and it's gotten really bad, and I need some help. What do you think the first thing that they did was? Paperwork. They handed him a clipboard full of paperwork, which, okay, bad enough, right? But then Joe took a pen, started to fill out his paperwork, and the pen didn't work. So he got up and he got another pen and he tried to fill out the paperwork, and that pen didn't work. And Joe, in his state of mind, threw the pen down and went to leave. And he said, these people don't even have a pen that works. How are they going to help me? Joe's not wrong. Luckily, his wife got him calmed down. They brought him back in. They got him admitted. They went to the back. But then somebody else came in, not in crisis this time, but had to fill out some paperwork. And the pen didn't work. And the guy behind the counter said, yeah, those pens never work. We keep ordering them and they keep not working. Remind me again what it's called when you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. He didn't say we keep ordering different pens and none of the pens work. He said we keep ordering these same pens and they never work. So the next time I came in to visit my friend, I brought them a box of pens. And the front desk person looked at me kind of weird. Why are you bringing me pens? And I told them the story about Joe. Now, do I think that me bringing this box of pens changed their pen procurement system? Probably not. But for that day, nobody was going to lose their life because that pen didn't work. I'm going to fix that one problem that I can fix. I think the other thing that we can do is we can do whatever we do well. Whatever that may be. I think there's a spiritual practice in everything that you do. You know, most of you know that we own a pizza restaurant. Think we're having lunch there afterwards today. And we tell our employees all the time, it's not just pizza. It is family night on Friday nights. It is baby's first bite of pizza and having a video of that. It is the woman that comes in once a month because this was her husband's favorite pizza and he's now passed away, but she honors his memory by coming in once a month. It's not just about pizza. It's about the moment that we create. And it's important that we do that well. Mother Teresa said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. And along those same lines, one of the other things that we can do is foster relationships. Just create those moments. Prioritize the people in your life. I saw a quote somewhere along the line that said, spend more time on your eulogy than on your resume. And that kind of hit me. Because again, at the end of the day, nobody says, dang it, I wish I would have spent more time at the office. I stinking love that place, I wish I would have had more time there. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so just prioritizing relationships. And you don't know what somebody in a relationship needs until you spend that time with them, right? The other thing that we can do is we can find just these small moments of triumph. I, one day a week, work down in Nogales. And it is not my favorite place to be, I gotta be honest. I work there for certain reasons, but I am really an outsider there. And that has its own lessons, which we won't really get into. But I am the outsider. I'm the one who's not bilingual. I'm the one that doesn't really fit in with the culture. So it's not really always my favorite place to be. But every week I can walk away with something that's a small moment of triumph. Maybe I walk into a classroom and they're doing the exercises that I gave them the ideas to do and I never thought they would do. Maybe a kid gets to the cafeteria on his own. Maybe he gets to play with his friends on a playground because we worked on ball skills. There's always something that you can find in those small moments. Galatians 6:9 encourages us, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Every act of kindness is just a seed that's being planted. And you may not see the results of it, but it's still there. So what happens when we try to leverage all of these small moments, these small wins? Well, you're affecting other people. You're letting other people know that they matter, even for just a moment. And you never know how important that can be to a person. And you're also setting an example for others. There's a lot of studies on the ripple effect of kindness. A 2010 Harvard study found that acts of kindness are contagious. When people witness kindness, they are more likely to pay it forward, creating a ripple effect that can spread through social networks. I think we've all kind of heard about the Starbucks thing, and okay, maybe we need to find someplace else to have these chains of kindness, but you know what I mean. In 2014, a woman in Florida paid the order for the person behind her at Starbucks. And during that day, over 378 people did the same thing and kept that chain going. So it's just showing that your small act can multiply and can be bigger than you ever thought it could be. It also affects you. It signifies the importance of hope and of better things to come. These small acts of kindness indicate that people are worthwhile and we should continue moving forward. It allows for possibilities outside of ourselves, and of faith in something greater than the here and now. Charles Allen said, when you say a situation or a person is hopeless, you are slamming the door in the face of God. When you decide that there's nothing that can be done, that it's hopeless, it's just discounting all the possibilities that could be. A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that performing acts of kindness not only benefit the recipient, but also increases the well-being and happiness of the giver. Richard Rohr said, how you do anything is how you do everything. And this is back to those small acts of kindness, how they affect others, how they affect you, doing whatever you do to your best. So now, let me tell you about Omari. Omari, in this picture, is 4.5. And I realized that this picture didn't exactly give you an idea of what Omari looks like. So I needed to bring a prop. And the prop is the bicycle that Omari is sitting on, okay? He's 4.5. This is the bicycle that he's sitting on, okay? This is the bicycle that Omari is sitting on. So he is a teeny tiny guy. And when he first came to our preschool, about 2 years ago now, he was even teenier, even tinier, even more sickly, had never been away from his parents, cried a lot. But we took him into our preschool, and we've worked with him for the last 2.5 years, and one of the things that they wanted him to do was ride a bicycle. Well, I got to tell you, when they told us that 2 years ago, we thought, okay, we'll work on that. But it seemed pretty far off. So we kind of applied the principles that I talked about. We fixed the problem that we could. We got a smaller bike. We did the task well and to the best of our abilities. The staff practiced with him every single day. As I was sitting in the back thinking about this, I thought, one of the ways that I could really demonstrate how committed we were to this is I had to demonstrate how he needed to ride it, right? Okay. So I demonstrated what he needed to do. We fostered relationships through his parents, through his teachers, through his staff providers, and also through his friends. This is Enzo. And Enzo is one of Omari's best friends. Enzo makes sure that he has his helmet on. Enzo helps him get on and off the bicycle. Enzo is there for him. And so Enzo has really helped Omari. But guess what? Omari has helped Enzo. Enzo will be a different boy because he is friends with Omari. And I love these guys, so I get a little emotional at this part. Because Enzo is going to grow up and be a helper. Enzo gets it. He is there doing the small things, helping his friend Omari out, being there for him. And he will be changed as an adult because he hung out with Omari. And that's what it's about, right? That's what inclusion is. That's why we do this. This is my passion project, can you tell? And then when Omari rode that bike, you can bet that we all celebrated. And so we just did what we could. We did those small things day after day, and he succeeded. And this little guy might be a starfish, but I think he's a starfish worth saving. So I want you to spend a little bit of time and think about your starfish. What are the things in your life that you could do that are just these small acts that might seem insignificant, but might be very meaningful to somebody else? No matter what faith tradition we follow, one truth remains universal. Love and kindness, even in their smallest forms, are the most powerful expressions of our shared humanity. And don't forget, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. Thank you so much.